welcome back to the workshop. I hope you're all doing well. Now, I have another tool review for you guys today, and today we're going to be looking at the Milwaukee fuel installation driver. Now, I've been using this out on site for the last couple of months every day, putting it through its paces, and I have to say I really like this tool. It's essentially replaced my drill and impact driver for about 85 to 90% of the work that I was doing day to day. So it's nice, lightweight, compact, and easy to carry around, and like I said, it's doing 90% of the work that these two tools used to do. And I'm always looking to get a lighter load out, carry less tools and do more with them, and this has been absolutely fantastic. So I'll take you through it in this video. I'll give you a quick demonstration of it. Yeah, the Milwaukee installation driver. Let's check it out. Now, just before we crack on with this tool review, I want to quickly thank Tradeify for sponsoring today's video. Now, Tradeify is the fastest growing job management platform in the world, specifically designed for self-employed tradespeople. So if you're on the tools all day and you struggle with your office work, definitely check it out. It's used by tradesmen and women all over the world, and I'm one of them. And it saves me countless hours and headaches every week on my office work. It's everything from invoicing jobs, quoting for jobs, scheduling jobs, managing a small crew through it, tracking all your job information, tracking all your invoices, automatic reminders. There's so much you can do with it, and it's desktop and mobile based, so you can carry your office with you in your pocket, and it's so easy to create a job, fill out all the job information and fire off an invoice, and then set up reminders for that invoice as well. So you don't have to keep all that information in your head. It's all here, ready and in hand, and believe me, it saves you countless hours every week. So I will link it below. Definitely check it out if you're struggling with your office work and you're in the trades, and there's a promo code MAN&SHED which will give you 50% off for your first 3 months. Highly recommend it, guys, so get down there and check it out. And there's also a 14-day free trial where you can play around with the complete job management platform, see how it works for you and see how it can help you in your business. So all linked below, check it out. Now, let's crack on with the tool review. Oh yeah, let's crack on with the review. Let's start with the box and what you actually get with it. Now, I don't actually use this box. I use my tote bag, and this is why I found this drill to be absolutely great. I'll get into that now in a minute as the video goes on, but this is the box it comes with. It's the kind of stackable Milwaukee boxes. They're okay, they're not bad. They're not the best on the market. They're not nearly as good as the pack-out boxes, but they're not bad. They do the job. Like I say, I don't use this box. It takes up too much space. But here is the actual drill and driver. This is what you get in the set. So you obviously have the drill or the driver itself. It works on the M12, so the 12-volt battery system. So you get 2 batteries, you get the charger, and you get the 4 chucks. And the 4 chucks are kind of the party piece of this drill. So you have the angle chuck, you have your standard hexagonal quick release chuck for all your screw bits, you have an offset chuck, which is extremely handy for getting up against things and into the corners. Sometimes when you can't get a drill, you kind of have to go in at an angle and you have to drive a screw at an angle. But this allows you to drive a bit or drill a hole straight up in a corner. Very handy indeed. And then you have your standard chuck for all your metal bits and wood bits and all that kind of stuff. So that's the 4 chucks. We will now take a look at the driver, and I'll give you a look at all these stuff in operation. Okay, let's very quickly run through the body of the installation driver itself. So like I said, it's the M12 battery system, comes with 2 2-amp-hour batteries. Now you can get the larger 4-amp-hour batteries for this, but it kind of defeats the purpose. The whole point of me getting this was to keep it nice, lightweight and compact, and having another bulky battery on the end of this kind of defeats the purpose, like I said. So, you know, it's a standard drill controls. You have your torque ring on the front, so 1 to 16. You can turn it all the way up then to your drill bit setting. I just leave it on the highest setting and control everything with the trigger. So, you know, you can speed control everything with the trigger, to speed control trigger, and you can kind of adjust your torque accordingly that way. So speed control on the top, so you have selector 1 and 2. Obviously, you select it to the slower speed, that's going to increase the torque even more. Number 2 is a faster speed. Then you have your forward reverse is an actual push button here, and you can see it illuminates the light forward and reverse. It's designed to be kind of use your middle finger as the trigger finger rather than your index finger. So you hold it in your palm of your hand like this with your index finger down the side, and that way you can easily then get to this switch with your thumb. If you hold it like this, you can't actually get your thumb. Now, I have quite big hands and I can't get my thumb onto it if I'm using my index finger down here. So you can see it sits into the palm of your hand like this. Use your middle finger as the trigger control, and this to do your forward reverse, and it works really well like this. Belt loop or clip here, and it's nicely balanced at that point, and it's, like I said, it's nice, lightweight and compact. Light on the front, it's kind of standard for all this stuff, and this is a magnetic bit holder, so you can throw drill bits, your screw gun bits, screws, whatever. They just lock on the front like that, and it's a good strong magnet so they don't fall off. So it's handy just to throw bits there when you're changing through bits, doing different jobs. You can carry a couple of bits there, just swap them in and out. The chuck works very simply. It's just a quick release, so you have a ring here, lock it in place, that's it, the chuck is on. That's your quick release chuck for your screw bits. Your standard chuck then, same thing, works the same way. Offset chuck I've already showed you. Then you have your angled chuck, which all the other chucks will fit onto, and you can set this up in different positions. So you're always going to be able to get into whatever's awkward. If you can't get the body to drill in, you can kind of offset this to whatever angle you need to get into those awkward spaces. So it's very, very handy in that regard. And just to compare it with the Gen 2 kind of impact driver, so you can see the size difference there. It's a lot more compact, and I suppose the overall length is about the same length as the body of the impact driver. So it's the battery is the difference in length there, and it is a lot lighter than this guy. Obviously he's got the 4 ampere battery, or you can get the 6 to 12 ampere batteries, which makes these things really heavy. So this is nice and light and compact, and plenty of power, which I will demonstrate to you now. Okay, so the first little demonstration I'll give you guys with this is driving some screws. Now, like I said, this is an installation driver, so it's more like a second fix kind of tool. So it's for installing equipment and that kind of thing, or assembling stuff. That's what this comes in handy. That's kind of 90% what I do. So if you're in the kind of first fix end of things, you're doing a lot of heavy construction, obviously then the impact driver is the way to go. So I'm going to drive some pretty big screws with this. I would never ordinarily use this to drive these type of screws. I would use my impact driver, but just to show you that this tool can do it. But for the smaller type screws, say for your 1.5/8, this thing will drive them all day long. And for mounting and assembling stuff onto walls and things like that, that's when this thing comes in very, very handy. Like I said, it's nice and lightweight. So just a piece of pressure treated 4x2 will drive some screws, just to show you what this thing is actually capable of. So let me get you in for a little bit of a closer look at this. Okay, just going to drive some screws into this piece of 4x2. I just have it set up over my tool belt so I don't actually accidentally screw this to my workbench. So like I said, we have various type screws, some very large ones as well. Like I said, these are 6x60 mils, so I would never use this tool to drive these. If I was driving these all day, then the impact driver is the way to go. Well, let's start. This is kind of like a 2'8". So you can see, no problem driving that one in. This is a 4x70, so this is a nice light screw. So we could even put this onto the higher speed setting. You can see that'll drive them straight through that timber all day. And I've been mounting stuff with this and using this driver for a few months, and the batteries do really last a long time. So we'll drive some of the heavier duty ones. So this is, like I said, the 6 or 6x80 mil. So that's a pretty heavy duty screw. So let's drive that in. So as you can see, no problem whatsoever. 6x60, and like I said, I would never use this tool for doing this, but just to show you, in a pinch, it can do. Pull them back out, turn up the speed. There you go. As a screw gun, it's pretty impressive for what for its size. Okay, the next thing I'm doing all day is drilling steel, so mounting conduit, steel trunk and all that kind of stuff using steel bits. Now the largest bit this drill will take is a 10mm bit, and really if you want to use anything more than a 10mm bit, then use the larger drill. But 90% of what I'm doing, and I think most people use, is a 6mm or 1/4 inch bit. That's good for most of the bolts that I use and the screws holes that I need. And like I said, this thing will drive screws through steel all day. Absolutely no problem whatsoever, so long as you have a good sharp bit, and this bit is not particularly sharp. Now another thing I have been using this for is drilling with a 20mm hole saw. Now this is probably the limit of what I would use this tool for. You could get away with using a 25mm or a 1-inch hole saw. A lot of the stuff we do, 20mm conduit and that kind of stuff, this hole saw is, you know, like I said, 90% of what I'm doing, and no problem. So there you go, 20mm hole in that steel, pretty simple. So you can see it's pretty easy to drill steel with this, and like I said, up to a 20mm hole saw, no problem. probably 25mm, you would be pushing it. We would need to use a larger drill, but like I said, 90% of what I'm doing is using a 6mm bit for most of the bolt holes that I drill, or the screw holes that I need to drill, and 20mm hole saw or 25mm hole saw is generally what I use, and I can do both. Another nice thing about it is just how light and compact it is, so you can drop it in your pocket, or you can hang it off your holster pocket or your belt with the belt clip. You can pop it in the tool belt. I use the Milwaukee tool belt. I've done a tool review on this. It doesn't add too much weight. Like I said, you can hang it off the front like that, as opposed to using the big and bulky drivers. Again, you would need to have the two of these with you to use your steel bits and your driver bits, whereas it's only a case of just swapping between the two chucks. The chucks I can have in my tool belt with the two different bits in them. I can just swap them out and carry the one tool, so it's nice and lightweight. So really, I can just grab my tool belt with this in it, and I can do a lot of work with these few hand tools and this, which is nice. And I also have it permanently carried now in my tote bag. So like I said, I don't use the box. I'll give you a quick close-up of this, and I can show you my setup in this, and it's nice, lightweight, and doesn't take up any room whatsoever. Okay, so this is the Milwaukee tote bag. I've done a full review of this bag. I think it's absolutely great. Tools on one side and your power tools on the other side. This was my original setup, so I would grab this bag with my drill and my impact driver in it. Like I said, if you have the 5 Ah or 6 Ah batteries, these things get quite heavy. It does make the bag quite heavy, but now they are gone, and it's just this guy sits in here, so I've plenty more room for storage. And a nice thing about it as well, all the chucks will actually fit in this pocket. So in my original review, I was saying this pocket is so narrow, I have no idea what I'm going to put in it, but actually get my drill bits, and all the chucks will sit in there like that, and I can drop in the various drill bits up here as well. Zip that up, all the chucks are in there. Spare battery, that can sit in there. I can drop a charger in there. I can drop my flashlight in there. I can carry a lot more bit sets in here now as well. And it has lightened the bag considerably just with the driver in here. And when I grab this with my tools and my tool belt, I can basically do 90% of what I need to do. So it's quick, on the job, not running up and down to the van to grab loads of different tools. Like I said, 90% of my screwing and drilling needs in the workshop or out on site, this thing is capable of doing. Right guys, so there we go, that's kind of my new setup, trying to lighten the load as always, do more with less and carry less stuff onto site and try and get away with as little as possible. Like I said, you want to be lugging this stuff up flights of stairs and stuff like that. It's always nice to get more done with a lighter load. And like I said, it's replaced 90% of what these two tools do. So these kind of stay with my pack-out system in the van unless I really need them, and if I need that extra power, then I can just grab these. But for, like I said, 90% of what I'm doing, either in the workshop or out on site, I found this to be more than adequate. Is there anything I don't like about it? I think the handle and grip could be a little bit more comfortable. I think it might be a better setup if you could use your index finger. It does kind of tilt forward, so the balance point is not around the trigger where you'd want it to be. So it can be a little bit uncomfortable. If you've got a smaller hand, you might struggle a little bit with it. Like I said, the grip is it's kind of large, and you have to use your middle finger as your trigger finger with your index finger down the side. So it kind of sits into this area between your index finger and your thumb. I would say they could make it more comfortable. That's my only criticism. I would like maybe the forward reverse controller down here where it is on the standard drills. Even though this is a much heavier drill, it feels nicer in hand. It sits into the palm of your hand, and it's kind of balanced with that battery hanging off the bottom. This one, not so much. It has a tendency to tilt forward. That's the only real gripe I have with it. Performance-wise, I have not found this lacking so long as you use it as for what it's intended to use, and you don't think it's going to do what this can do or this can do. And like I said, you be sensible in how you use it. It does pretty much 90% of what I used to use these two for. And it's nice and light and fits in there, and has saved a bit of weight, which is always a bonus. Now, the only thing I haven't demonstrated is the angle chuck. That's pretty self-explanatory. And the offset chuck, again, pretty self-explanatory. It's just for getting in close to objects and getting up into corners of things, nice and simple for drilling or screwing. Yeah, so that's it guys. That's been my review of the Milwaukee installation driver. I've been using it for the last number of months. I said I would share it with you guys. I absolutely love it. Like I said, 90% of what these two do, this now does. Just lighter and more compact. So that's it guys. I'm going to get out of here now. Any comments, any questions you have, be sure and leave them below. I will get back to you if I can. If you're new here, think about subscribing. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, because that helps me out a lot. Okay guys, until the next project, I shall see you then. Take it easy.